Imagine walking through Times Square on a rainy afternoon. Neon lights shimmer on wet pavement. The crowd flows around you. Selfies, coffee cups, earbuds in. And then, someone steps into view. He's not like the others. Stocky, massive hands, heavy brow, deep-set eyes that seem ancient. You stare. Because in that moment, you realize you're looking at a Neanderthal. Not a costumed actor. Not a movie stunt. A real, living, breathing human from another age. Someone who hunted mammoths before the pyramids were even an idea. Someone whose ancestors walked Europe before the last ice age ended. And suddenly, the question hits you. What would happen if the Neanderthal man lived today? Let's rewind, way back. Neanderthals emerged nearly 400,000 years ago. For over 350,000 years, they dominated the harshest environments Europe had to offer. Ice ages, saber-toothed predators, brutal winters. They built fires, hunted in teams, and made tools that required planning and precision. Their reign was long, rugged, and deeply human. Their brains? Larger than ours. You read that right. Neanderthal cranial volume averaged around 1,500 cubic centimeters, compared to our 1,350. But size isn't everything. Their brains were wired differently, more focused on vision, movement, and survival. Imagine a mind optimized, not for writing novels, but for navigating danger in 3D space. And they weren't savages. Far from it. They used glue made from birch bark, which required complex chemical processes. They controlled fire, constructed shelters, and crafted Levallois tools, highly efficient blades produced through a step-by-step method that rivals modern engineering in its planning. Still think they were just club-swinging cavemen? Hold on, it gets better. Neanderthals made jewelry from eagle talons. They buried their dead, sometimes with flowers. A grave found in Iraq contained a man with severe injuries. Blind in one eye, an arm missing, likely unable to hunt or feed himself. Yet he lived, for years, meaning his community took care of him. That's empathy, loyalty, something we'd call humanity. And let's talk art. In 2018, scientists discovered cave paintings in Spain dating back 65,000 years, before Homo sapiens arrived in Europe. Lines, dots, stencils, made by Neanderthals. So yes, they were artists. They expressed, they imagined. So now we ask again, what if they were here? In our cities, our schools, our boardrooms. Let's imagine we cloned one, through modern genetics. A pure Neanderthal, born and raised today. Physically, he'd be built like a fortress. About 5'5", but with 30% more muscle mass than a modern human. Massive rib cage, short limbs, powerful hands. Picture a rugby player fused with a gymnast. CrossFit? He'd break the leaderboard. Instinctively, but mentally? That's where it gets fascinating. Raised in a loving, modern home, he'd likely learn language. Maybe slowly, maybe differently. But learn he would. His brain, though structured differently, would absorb sound, pattern, connection. Would he write poetry? Maybe not. But could he build, design, solve? Very possibly. Some researchers believe Neanderthals may have had better eyesight, stronger memory, and superior spatial awareness. Imagine a Neanderthal architect building cities from memory, or a surgeon visualizing your organs in 3D before the first incision. Not worse intelligence, just alien. But let's push further. What if they had never died out? Two human species, side by side, Homo sapiens and Neanderthals. History tells us that difference often breeds conflict. Skin color, religion, language. Now imagine two species, with visibly different skull shapes, speech patterns, physical builds. Would we integrate or segregate? Would we pass laws or build walls? But there's another possibility. Maybe we'd collaborate. Imagine tech designed by two minds, Neanderthal focus and memory paired with Homo sapiens abstract thinking. Dual cognition. Two lenses on reality. Could we have solved problems faster, advanced farther, gone to Mars by now? Maybe. Maybe not. But here's the kicker. They're not entirely gone. In 2010, researchers found that most modern humans carry 1–2% Neanderthal DNA. If you're of European or Asian descent, you're part Neanderthal. Your skin's reaction to sun, your sleep rhythm, your immune system, all touched by ancient genes. You might be more like our subway stranger than you think. And here's a thought that keeps anthropologists up at night. Maybe we didn't outcompete them. Maybe we just absorbed them, merged, interbred. And the disappearance of Neanderthals was less extinction and more assimilation. So now imagine bringing one back, pure, isolated, untouched by modern Homo sapiens. What do we do with him? Do we treat him as a person or a project? History warns us. In 1906, Ota Benga, a Congolese man, was placed in the Bronx Zoo, in a cage, next to an orangutan, for being primitive, and he was fully human. What would we do with a Neanderthal? Would we listen? Or would we display? And here's the deeper question. What makes someone human? Is it DNA? Language? Imagination? Or is it the ability to feel, to mourn, to create? Because if a Neanderthal could love, dream, cry, and wonder, then perhaps he isn't so different. Perhaps humanity isn't a species. Perhaps it's a spectrum. A Neanderthal living today would be a mirror, showing us who we were and asking who we want to become. So, what would happen if the Neanderthal man lived today? He might struggle with our world. He might be feared, mocked, misunderstood. Or maybe, just maybe, he'd teach us something about strength, about empathy, about how to live with difference. Maybe he'd remind us that our story didn't start with smartphones and social networks. It started with fire and stone and shared survival. And maybe the most human thing we could do is remember. If this made you pause, wonder, or see the world differently, subscribe to 5 Minutes of Culture. Only 1% of viewers do, but that click helps us keep digging through time and asking the questions that truly matter. Be part of that 1%. History's waiting.